Alex, we currently have a tie. Want to break it?
Alex.
I always feel like
Sean is low-key threatened
watching
everybody.
me.
Low-key threatening looks at everybody who's answered so far. And welcome back to Unstable Discourse.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Baby.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
It's me, Alex Seminary of Disc Golf Chicago, here with Ryan Fancher of Unstable Disc Golf Gear.
Yes, sir. You didn't forget about the intros until 5 minutes into the episode this time.
Yeah, hey.
You
Good
like
job,
that?
dude.
I thought
You
about
did
it
your
in the shower
homework.
before I got here. I'm
Good
just going to
job.
get it out of the way.
And now
right
I'm
away.
thinking about you
Weird.
in the shower.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to keep it clean.
We are keeping it clean.
He was keeping
What's
himself
cleaner
clean.
than being in the shower?
literally
being in the
cleaning
shower.
yourself.
That's
Got
when
it.
you clean yourself.
That's how you keep it
A
clean.
lot of
Very
suds
good.
in there. Sean
Get
Callahan
in
of
there.
Delwood Disc Golf.
Yeah, boy.
Jason Callahan of Bag of Tricks.
I showered today, too.
Fantastic.
Good job.
And we have special guests in the studio with us today, Mr. Patrick Haaker,
Hi.
a.k.a. Eddie Bauer.
Bow wow.
Yes.
Power.
We're going to tell
Wow,
people
yippee,
the origin
yippee.
story, because I just learned the origin story, which is fantastic. So
It was, for some reason, I just thought you wore Eddie Bauer stuff and they just got you.
I don't have-
I didn't know that there was a thing. We'll
I
have
don't
to
even
tell
like
the story.
Eddie Bauer clothing. So
We may have
I
to dive
thought
into the
they
story.
thought you were like cute. So they're like, you were like an Eddie Bauer model or something.
Oh.
Like that's where my head went with it.
And last but not least, we have Jason Allen in the studio with us.
Hi.
Perfect. Don't change a thing,
Yeah.
Jason.
That's why you're here.
We also have the Deucer sitting in, but we have six mics, six people mic'd up, so you're kind of
Yeah.
in the background
And we
today.
have
She's in the back.
Alex touching the microphone.
You got to call it out every time it happens.
Touch
Yeah.
it.
How
Touch
else will
it.
you learn?
Touch it?
You know, you might want to try something else because it's
Yeah,
been
it's not
50
working.
episodes.
Not working.
That was rule number 1 of this podcast is you don't touch the microphone.
Yeah.
See?
The listeners
Ryan
know.
told us to tilt it.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah. Before
You
we
guys told me
started.
rule number 1 was to keep my pants on.
Oh,
Why and why aren't they?
Yeah.
I am now
Why
cutting off
aren't they?
Phyllis's head with a chainsaw.
Ring, ding, 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 ding.
Last, we also got Baby Bro Max in the studio with us, spectating as he has been this
Yeah,
whole
boy.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
So this episode, we're going to be actually, before I tell the listeners what this episode is about, you mentioned 50 episodes. We haven't even called that out yet, have we?
Well,
We
last one
mentioned it
was our
last time.
50th. This is our 51st.
Yeah.
The last episode, Delwood and Dragons Part 2, was our 50th
50th
episode.
episode.
And yeah.
How about
didn't
that?
even make a big deal about it.
No.
But
Well,
I guess
I
we
tried
did
to
because
say
the
something
episode
at the
was good.
beginning of the
did.
episode, and
You
you
did,
talked
yes.
over me.
We were
like-
too
like normal.
excited about
And,
what was going to happen.
It kind of got missed.
Yeah.
It was still fun. It was a great episode.
Yeah.
So,
Killer.
It was a good time.
Did you guys listen?
I've caught the beginning and the end, but not the middle.
That's all you needed.
Oof.
Yeah.
I've gone through the episodes this week. I was behind. I was.
By how many seasons?
Shame.
I didn't know there was 4 seasons.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh.
Winter, spring, summer, fall, Patrick. You're a science teacher.
1 and 2, I was amazing. 1 and 2, I was like, I looked forward to it, and then like
We really fell
winter
off in season
happened, but
3.
winter expanded.
So wait, Jason, you just mentioned that Patrick is a teacher.
Yes.
Let's tell the listeners a little bit, like, who are you guys? Why are you here? So we are going to be talking about getting disc golf into schools, starting clubs, and sort of like how to get, if you have a school that you work at or your kids go to and you want to get disc golf there, we're going to talk about kind of how you guys have made that happen and how somebody else might be able to take that journey.
Hey guys, Jason here. Because the subject matter of this episode is based around schools and disc golf, we dialed back on our typical risque discourse. During the evening's recording session, there were several opportunities for debauchery that we passed on. However, don't think for a second that we weren't thinking what you're thinking. Anytime you hear David Lee Roth in this episode, just know that we were itching to thrust our lechery into the holes of this episode's purity. Thrust.
Patrick, you want to give us a quick background?
Well, Patrick here, I teach at Joliet West High School. Go Tigers. I started a disc golf club after I met not Jason, but his friend who was also starting the disc golf club. It was Pleasy, Mr. Pleasy.
Josh Pleasy.
I was like, this is really cool. And I had time in between the seasons that I coached. So we started putting, and then Sean started the amazing putting league, and I like fell in love with the putting league at the prison.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And it gave us
shout out.
gave us more reason to go and putt and just get better at disc golf. So I put it out to a bunch of students, and a couple of them were interested, and then they brought their friends, and we slowly developed into a small group of, we did mostly putting inside the school in the winter.
That's probably the most accessible thing, right? That makes the most sense.
Yes.
But what do you teach?
I teach principles of biomedical science.
That sounded like Mike Strauss for a
Say
second.
what?
It sounds really smart.
It
It
sounds
does. I
very
teach
smart.
people. I teach people that want to go in the medical field, and I tell them don't be a doctor. That's like my job.
Just crushing dreams.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. We do a lot of labs.
That syllabus
One
is
kid at a
one
time.
page and it's
Yeah.
like 72-point font. Don't be a doctor. Here you go.
There you go.
Big circle with a line.
We'll see
through
you
it.
at the final.
Figure it
It's
out.
finals.
It's a picture of Dr. Dre with a circle and a line through it.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jason, give us your professional credentials.
Sure thing. I'm a math teacher at Minooka Community High School. I teach honors geometry and algebra, and we've had a disc golf club there since 2015. We had 4 kids who came to me and said, "Hey, I heard you play disc golf." I'm like, yeah. Can we form a club? I'm like, okay, let's do this. It started real slow, but over the years, it's really grown. Josh Pleasy is the teacher that Patrick mentioned. The two of us have been doing it strong the whole time.
Dude.
We've had a really good turnout this year.
Fantastic.
We're up to almost 40 kids, and
What?
it's great.
They show up with a bus, dude.
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, we have the minibuses from the school that we take to the courses, and it's so when you pull up in a minibus or even a full bus, sometimes the disc golfers are like, "Why wasn't that around when I was in high school?" Like they're so
Oh, yeah,
amazed. So-
Totally.
So that's the dream scenario where the kids actually come to you and say, "Can we start a club?"
Yes.
Like, dude, that's the best possible scenario.
Did you ask those 4 original kids how they knew stuff about your personal life?
About me,
Yeah, how'd they know that you played disc golf?
I talk about it in the class. Like
Fair
so
enough.
before the
Okay.
club, just like the kids knew I was obsessed. That it was
Gotcha.
one of my biggest hobbies, and so
Were you
word
using
gets
like
around.
adding
Yeah.
up scores as like a lesson?
No, not at that time. I do it nowadays, but
Nice.
I mean that's an important part of your disc golf career is figuring out how to do a scorecard and how to
Sure.
tally it up without sitting there and trying to count each one of the points of the numbers.
Sure.
Were you already on PDGA?
No, I don't think I was. In fact, I became not professional, but I got into the disc golf scene because my students kept asking me, "Hey, how do I get into a tournament? What's it like to play in a league?" And I was always like, I don't know. I just play. And so 2018, I'm like, I'm going to commit a whole season. I'm just going to play everything I can to get some more information and more knowledge. And I've been hooked ever since in the tournament scene.
Caught
Yes,
the
you
bug.
have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we have some background on you guys. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this conversation a little later in the episode. Before we get to that, let's start with a little segment called Fired Up.
Fired up.
Yeah.
This is the sarcastic version.
I guess.
Fired up.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything that they're, raise your hand if you're super fired up about something.
Yes.
Jason, take us in.
All right. We are about to go into morel season. If you guys don't know what that is, it's morel mushrooms. They pop up in the forest everywhere.
It's supposed to be a secret.
Well, your locations are a secret.
Don't
but the
worry.
fact that
No
it's
one
the
listens
season,
to this.
Yeah.
You're
And
good.
in fact, this
Yeah.
gets back to disc golf because the only reason I play disc golf is because of morels. My students told me, "Hey, go out to Shanahan disc golf course. There's morels everywhere." So I went out there to find them, and I never found any mushrooms, but I did find disc golf. And I've
If you found disc
Dude.
golfers, then you would have found mushrooms.
That's right.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
But probably not the ones you were looking for.
Right.
Yeah, I should clarify. These are morel mushrooms. They are legal. You just do have to cook them. Don't eat them raw.
Yes.
Mm.
You're very good.
Yes.
Yes. Little olive
I
oil.
lived in southern Indiana for a decade, and it was a big deal down there. This time of year, people got into it. Old town was abuzz about these mushrooms. Yep.
It only happens for like a really short window.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks if you're lucky.
Really? Oh, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. it's a
so
thing
wait,
at that
have
time.
we, you said it's about to be morel season?
Yeah, they haven't quite reached this
Hmm.
part of Illinois yet. They have a morel progression map that you can check online, and it shows you reports of where people found them. I think they're a little delayed because people probably wait a little bit before they post, "Hey, I found it," because they want
Right.
to get all theirs first before
Sure.
the people get to it. But
Rich Klein puts that out there. So if you know Rich
Mhm.
Klein, he has the map
Oh.
posted all the time.
Yeah, big old barefoot.
I actually
Richard.
did see his post on Facebook with that exact thing recently. You made a comment about the progression map, and that requires people actually like physically updating it.
Mhm.
So is there like a UMorel app?
not that I'm the wrong guy to ask about the app, but
Yeah.
Facebook.
It's a
There's
callback joke from a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
Playground. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Th-
Yeah.
It's all right. Our diehard listeners will understand.
It was
how
good. It
hilarious
was
it
good.
Both of them
That
will
was
get
really
it.
good.
Flicky's probably already found 17 morels on the UMorel app. Yeah.
Who else is fired up about something?
I'm fired up about this week. This is my favorite week of the entire year because we go from just bare trees to
Right.
leaves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I love the week when it
Oh.
leaves out and gets rid
Yes.
of the sucker
Yeah.
gaps everywhere.
That's such a good point.
I love it.
Yeah.
The disc
Yeah.
golf
Plus it makes you
courses
feel
are
good.
a changing
Yeah.
in the next couple weeks.
I just
Big time.
sent
Big time.
Sean and Sheila a picture of the one of the bushes outside my house, and it was just little buds, and I was like, it's happening.
It's happening.
Like when you drive down the street that you've been looking at that looks like garbage and brown and, and all of a sudden it's green. Oh, it's so good.
Don't get too excited because it could like snow a foot next week as well.
Oh,
This is
stop.
something that.
What
What are you editing? Wait, what? What? No, don't edit. Wait, what?
It's a good call out though on those like sneaky finger branches that you can't quite tell if they're in your way or not.
Mhm.
It's like you think you've got a clear line, and all of a sudden there's
Yeah, he just had a disc golf term that I'd never heard before. What's the sucker gap? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, sucker gap.
Yeah, what's that?
It's like making it through somewhere where you wouldn't normally.
Oh, because there was nothing.
Because
in the
there's
way.
nothing there.
or you
He's got
think
it.
that there's nothing.
Yeah,
there.
you see a hole, but it's
Yeah.
not really a hole.
What do you think the teacher's gonna look like this year?
Got it.
Your depth perception's all weird because there's no leaves, so like you can't really tell where all the sticks are on the branches.
I see.
Well, the other thing is leaves do grab the disc pretty well. So if there's no leaves, the disc will fly through. But if there are leaves, it'll just knock it right out of the air.
Gobble it up.
Oh, we'll
Yeah.
have to remember that for Delwood and Dragons Part 3.
Ooh.
Ooh, interesting.
Mm.
Have you guys started prepping for that already?
Not yet. Well, I mean,
Sheila's like,
Sheila just
have
went,
we discussed it yet? No. Are we both probably mentally preparing stuff on our own? You bet.
Yep, I got a lot of DMs and comments about people that are
Mhm.
very excited to hear there'll be a third part to that. Kudos to you guys again. God, that was so much fun. I've got a quick fired up if nobody else has
Run
one.
it.
do it.
Oh,
Uh,
just do it already.
You'll see. Oh, here they are. Fired up to turn 35, 30 thrive. Actually,
Ooh.
got my 35th birthday coming up.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm having a roller skating birthday party, and it's going to be very 90s and like glow and black light. And yeah, I've ordered little shutter shades for everybody and
They're
little
hilarious.
lights.
Can you see?
And I can see. Let's see. There's another setting on these glasses that might change that.
Oh,
Still good.
That's better. Yeah. No, do the fast one. I want to make sure I have a seizure halfway through this podcast. There you go. That's the
You
one.
asked for it. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Tinley Park Roller Rink. We're gonna have a little private sesh from 3 to 6. So I'm really hoping that somebody will definitely get hurt at this, but I'm just hoping it's not me or my wife, and hopefully it's not somebody who's too old for it to be funny.
Right.
Because last time I actually went to kind of practice and make sure I wasn't a total disaster on roller skates, and there was a lady, it had to be upwards of 50, and I kept saying I'm very nervous about her being on the
Your
floor.
bones are way more weak.
We took a little break, got some water, came back to the floor, and there was an EMT there, and they were putting that lady on a stretcher,
no.
and her leg was like completely the wrong direction.
Wow.
It was so
Leg?
brutal. Like, yeah, her leg was like in a very graphically wrong direction, and it was so graphic that my buddy's girlfriend saw it and just puked on the spot.
What?
Yeah.
Good God.
Did it
was
happen in the parking lot?
in
the
a
ring?
trash can right next to the lady on the ground.
Wow.
It was intense.
My wrist. That's what I'm most worried about is falling and trying to catch
yourself.
myself and
Nah, you're
snap
never
at
going
my
fast
wrist.
enough. You just tuck and roll.
Yeah.
Just tuck and roll. Yep.
Ooh.
It's easy to say.
Yeah.
Things are easier as a kid.
These little 8-year-olds, they fall 40 times. They get right back up. It's no big deal. If any of us fall, you're probably out of commission for a few days at least. So I'm excited for all that.
And try explaining to your boss that you have to not be at work on Monday because you fell roller skating over the weekend.
That reminds
Right.
me of another thing I'm fired up about.
Ooh,
I just got a new job.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
Nice.
I gave my 2 weeks notice at my current job, and took an offer at this other company. And my current job was like, you know what, you can have the next 2 weeks off paid. Don't worry about it. And I was like, great. So now I'm disc golfing constantly for the next
Every
10
day.
days.
Mm.
At a boy.
So I'm pretty fired up about that
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Wow.
I'll go. Ryan's stoked.
We
All
don't
right, here we go.
have to go.
I
discussed
was
this.
able
We're gonna
to
do it.
work at Callahan Acres for the first time in a long time today. Sheila and I both, we cleaned up what we call Q3. That's over in the southeast corner of the yard, which is where the second fairway will be going. This is the last portion of the 3 fairways that I needed to tackle. Shout out to Tom McSweeney on coming out and digging that ditch, getting all the rainwater from our yard into that ditch and getting it out of here. Made it easy for me to clean that up today. So super stoked on that.
Is Tom McSweeney the Tom M that I think
No,
it is?
That is Tom Metasevic. Do you know Dan McSweeney?
I think so.
Yes, his older brother Tom.
Hmm.
They both work for Elite Landscaping, and they've done the work out at Delhi. And he has come and is going to be doing work here. He did do work here and is going to be doing more work.
Baller. Shout
Yeah,
out
nice.
to Elite Landscaping.
Yeah, super sick.
Awesome.
Okay, Ryan is visibly frustrated about how long we're taking on Fired Up, so let's
Yep.
keep it moving.
You know what, bitches? I've got it fired up. I didn't, but now I do.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
And
I
it
like
was the best movie in the history. No, it wasn't at all. But it was a fun movie. I saw the Mario Bros. Movie
Oh, God,
cool.
I'm so jealous.
with my wife and daughter, and we went to Orland, and we sat in like the really comfy like love seats that recline, and
Mm-hmm.
it was Saturday, and I think it opened on Friday,
Yeah,
and there was maybe 2 or 3 other people in the theater.
that's all.
It was a matinee at 1:10 on a Saturday afternoon. I get it, but you'd think there'd be kids,
For sure.
but there was not. So it was awesome, and the movie was an hour and a half. It didn't need to be 1 minute longer than it was,
Sure.
and it was perfect for kids, and it was fun. It was a good movie.
Okay, so our age range, is there enough references there?
That is the downfall.
No?
There was just not enough. Like, the Mario Brothers are us
Yes.
through and through. And so the whole time I expected there to be like breaking the fourth wall, making a joke, and looking at the camera like, wink.
Yeah.
You know, because that's
Nonstop.
for us, but
Right.
there was really not any of it.
Oh, no.
yeah.
That kind of bumps me out.
Yeah, but otherwise, like, it was great. Like, everybody ragged on Chris Pratt being Mario, but it was like, the voice acting was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
I love Jack Black as Bowser.
Yeah,
I
and
follow
it
him
didn't
on
sound
Insta
like
as
Jack
much
Black
stuff.
really much at all.
Right.
Like, you
right.
could tell because you knew,
Yeah.
but it wasn't just Jack Black. Like,
Right.
it was great. Yeah, all the voice acting was really good, and the whole thing was well put together. I had fun.
That's awesome.
And I don't normally say that, because if I don't love a movie, then I'm really not into it at all. But this was a good time. So, there.
Nice.
Jeez, wrap it up.
Does Bowser sing at all in the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
A lot of
Oh,
singing.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
With a guitar?
No.
That
Oh.
sounds actually. God, I love when
Yeah.
Jack Black.
No
Yeah.
saxoboom. That would have been great. That would have been a really good reference that we would have loved,
Yes.
but he did not do that.
Right.
You know what I just realized? There's an important part of this episode that I forgot to tell listeners that is going to happen.
Okay.
It's the second round of destination penetration.
Oh, that's right. Absolutely. It is
Another
right.
another
Yeah.
part of this episode, so we do got to get things moving.
I think I'll probably be leaving a little bit early then.
Oh, no. You're in it for the long haul
Yeah.
now. You will be penetrated, and that's the only way there is to go.
That's right. And it's a good thing that we had 2 guests, so that way there's still an odd number of people on the mics that we can get a definitive answer on.
Ooh, that's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's
You will be playing.
trying so hard not to make a penetration.
We are going to
joke.
be. This is just the second of 3, correct? We're not going to
Yes.
go all the way to 1,
No.
right? We're just going to go the next.
We'll
round.
penetrate, but we won't go all the way.
Correct.
I'm a teacher.
Right.
Correct.
So the second part is just the tip.
I brought my pencil.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
Go ahead. Oh,
No, it's
not
okay.
your
We're just
podcast.
pretending.
So,
Your students, they don't know what penetration means.
no, not at all.
I
No.
wouldn't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
They will learn a thing or two about destinations by the end of this episode.
Yes, they
Yep.
will.
Now that everybody has gone, fired up,
Good job.
why don't we dive into the Callahan rundown?
Let's do it. The Callahan Rundown Late Spring 2023 edition, the second half of April and all of May. We will kick it off with the fundraising flex start for close disc golf friends, the Magnusons from Roanoke. We've met them. They are awesome. The Rip It for Reese flex start will help fund a wheelchair-accessible addition on their home for their son Reese. $5 to play and $5 for an optional ace. These are the same Magnusons that brought you the Roanoke Park disc golf course in Roanoke, Illinois, if you don't know. They put in a 9-hole course down there. We have not played it yet. I would like to. It's the same
Yeah.
idea of Haynes Wayside. 9 holes, 2 sets of tees, 2 sets of baskets, 18-hole layout. So super sick. So come out to Delhi. That is on Saturday, the 22nd. Come out to Delhi and support this amazing family that is giving back to disc golf.
I think disc golf is more fun when you're playing for a cause.
Super fun.
Playing at the Dog Bowl is usually one of the most fun rounds I usually play of the
Yeah.
year, and it's because it doesn't matter what my score is.
Right.
Something good's coming out of it.
Moving on, Delwood Bag Tags. They are on Saturday mornings. Sign-ups at 10, tee off at 11, 15 to play, 10 for a 2023 tag. We will be doing that through the end of May, taking a break in June, July, and August. So come on out for that. Couple more Saturdays left. Sunday mornings, Trinity Links Bag Tags. $15 for a tag, 10 to play. Go see Doc over there, and that's your opportunity to go and play Trinity when you otherwise cannot. Workforce Brewing Open 5. By the time you guys are listening to this episode, it will have already gone live, but make sure you double check. There may be spots. Check that out, discgolfscene.com. All right. Well, we are going to kick it over to Patrick Haaker during the Callahan Rundown to let us know about his flex start over at the high school.
So at Joy at West, everyone does the exact same fundraisers. So we thought that it would be cool to do something different. And the girls know, the girls being my cross country team, my wife and I coach together at Joy at West. They know that we run on every disc golf course. Everywhere we go, there's always baskets, and they're always used for turns. So when we were thinking of a fundraiser, people do golf outings. I was like, why can't we just do a disc golf outing on campus? So Sean has been awesome in helping out and making sure that we'll have everything we need to be able to run a flex start on April 30th. We'll meet at Joy at West at the field house. It goes from 9 to 5 o'clock. It's $10 to play with a $5 ace pot. It is sanctioned.
Whoa, cool.
And yep, we did that for to avoid the possible alcohol and tobacco use. That was like
Smart.
an extra bonus.
Oh, good idea.
It is cute that you think that's going to stop disc golfers. But
Yeah.
You know, school kind of can't do that.
yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. The football team's going to be involved by helping bring out the baskets. The cross country team's going to be involved by leading you everywhere, spotting,
Sick.
selling concessions, and we're really looking forward to it.
It's going to be great.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Super
Is
cool.
that a Sunday?
It is a Sunday, and if you join the ace pot, if it doesn't get hit, but there's quite a few ace runs. Like we have like one where you go like right into tennis courts. Like there's a backstop. Like it can bounce off the
just
fence,
run
go in.
Love that.
It's definitely a run. If it doesn't get hit, it's going to go towards J-Town's ace fund, which seems to get hit. I saw 2 aces playing
Tuesday
on
night
Wednesday
league or Wednesday?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday
league.
dubs.
Wednesday dubs.
Okay.
Same card. I saw, who was it? It was Evan
Evan.
Grunlin, and then same
Marbs.
card, Marbs, acing like 3 holes apart. It was crazy.
Dude, yeah, those two guys, they ace.
You should allow the football team to stay there. And if somebody takes too long to putt, one of them can just run and tackle the guy for taking too long to putt.
30 seconds, go.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, J-Town Disc Golf Club has just been killing it with a Tuesday night. This is also part of the Callahan Rundown. Tuesday night handicap league. They've been at West Park the last couple weeks and breaking records. 48 people on Tuesday. It's not confirmed yet, but I guarantee that's a record.
Mm-hmm.
They've been killing it. So go to jtowndiscgolf.com and get on that schedule. We also have it over at the shop. And then Wednesday night is Doubles League that travels the same courses. So take a look at the website for that stuff. And then also, last but not least, the flex that we're going to be doing over at Trinity Links on April 21st. That's a Friday. That is going to be the GJTS TDTC flex. So we're going to be playing 22 of the 24 holes for that flex.
Correct.
So you'll be able to get some good practice in there.
Mhm.
So come check that out.
I'll be there.
Hell yeah.
Team Green.
Team
Team Green, baby.
Shut up.
Team Green.
Can I add to the event? Jason reminded me with his cell phone. He showed me that I forgot to mention that we are doing a raffle too at our event. I already have like Internode, which sells plants in Joliet, and Cafe de Casa has donated coffee, like gift cards for people.
You
for a
had
raffle.
Sheila's curiosity. Now you've got her attention.
Yeah, so
Plants?
bunch of local businesses giving out prizes for the raffle.
Drop me a message after this. I'd like to send some stuff as well for that.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's a wrap
That's a wrap.
on the Callahan
That was a lot.
Rundown,
Yep.
which is brought to you, of course, unofficially by
Discgolfscene.com.
Come on, I forgot his name.
What?
Really?
Oh my
No!
God.
That's the one
I'm
line.
bad with
dude.
names.
That's
I'm
the
terrible.
One line.
Mike?
Yes, that's it. You got it.
Thank
Come
you.
on.
It's a common
Come on,
name.
Mike.
Come on.
Mike.
Come on.
Mike.
Wow.
Oh, Pete, it's right there. It's on the wall.
On the wall.
You're looking at it.
Jeez
You should have said it.
Louise.
That was the best way to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
That's okay.
Come on, Mike.
It sucks as a teacher not knowing names. Like
No,
I'm
that's-
terrible. Like I the
That's-
first 2 weeks I'm nervous.
that's
Like
so
just
great.
like I don't know you. Like
That's great.
It's time to get into the nuts and bolts of this episode.
Nuts and butts.
We're talking about disc golf clubs and bringing disc golf into schools. And we have two of the most qualified people, I think, to talk on the subject. You guys both
That
have.
we could find.
Yeah,
that
that
we could
that
find.
we
Right.
know
Yeah, yeah.
personally.
That we
know.
could find.
Yeah.
It's a
We
topic
cast a
that-
very shallow net.
That's true.
Gee, I feel great now.
I honestly been very surprised to learn how many disc golfers are teachers or who have connections at a school and haven't done something about it yet. All the time, I see somebody like I'll make a post about
Pat Rickard. There you
doing
Ooh,
something like
Call him out.
and yeah, you
Start your
always get a
club.
comment like, "Oh, I teach at this school," or I, my wife teaches here, and it's like, is there any disc golf programming happening yet? And it's like, oh, well, I never really thought about it. Like, what? It seems like such an obvious thing to me. Obviously, it's obvious to you guys as well. Before we start talking about the actual like topic at hand, no, I'm not going to ask you how you got into disc golf. I would love to, but what I actually want to talk about first is Eddie Bauer. Can we get the origin
Real quick
on
nutshell? Eddie Bauer.
Where did it come from?
Fast
Where
as
did it
possible.
go?
All right.
Where did it come from?
Where did it go?
Eddie Bauer Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh,
When I started playing, I wanted to get really good. So I used to follow around the old, like the Al Hermosillo and Tom M, Twan, Hutter. I used to follow Dana. I used to follow them around and like try to pick up like little pieces of information to try to get better because I sucked.
Please, Kitty, can I have some more?
yeah. When you say follow them around, are they playing the game and you're like hiding in the bushes?
I would be like
staring
five,
behind a leaf at them.
I'd be like 5 holes away, and like we'd like cross paths, and I'd like be like, "Oh, can I join?" Like, and I like literally follow them around. And I guess he got annoyed by this, so I knew I needed a bag, and at Eddie Bauer they just had these lunch boxes that were perfect for like my DX Birds and AVRs, and that's all I had. So I bought one of the lunch boxes, and I guess they were calling me Eddie Bauer behind my back for like a year. And then Twan got really drunk, and Twan just
that doesn't sound like Twan.
He's like, Eddie, maybe it was Al, the way I say it, but like one of them got really drunk, and they were just like Eddie, and then like it just came out that they had been calling me Eddie Bauer because of the lunchbox. And Twan still reminds me to this day though that at least I wasn't carrying around a Jansport bag, because I would have been Jansport.
Yes.
Yeah, and of all the sort of beginner types of bags you could go with, that seems like a pretty good choice. I mean, they could have called you Walmart bag or
Right.
grocery bag, or what was Amy Laskowski had the reusable grocery bag.
Grocery bag, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a pretty smart choice.
Bags were also the like little box ones. They didn't have backpacks back then.
Oh,
Just please tell me the first time you actually played with them, they were like super impressed, and you just like were really good.
No.
No?
I tried to explain
No
to
underdog story.
Yeah.
I think I tried to
This is a
explain
movie
to
from the 80s,
damn
John.
I think I tried to explain to Al that on, I don't know the whole numbers, but the long one at Shanahan.
14.
14.
Or 9.
That 14. It was 14. I'm like, you just need to throw a DXT bird, and like you'll go and get your look or something like that. And I was talking to Al, so it was a bad idea.
You're done.
Yeah,
Forever.
for a long time.
It's almost as embarrassing as my Lefty Al story. Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
okay. So now we have a little background on who you are and why you are the way you are.
You are the worst. I hate looking at your face. I want to smash it.
Let's get a little background on Jason. So the defining characteristic I'm going to start with is the fact that you don't carry a cell phone.
That's correct.
What do you carry in place of a cell phone?
So it's in front of me right now. It's a little green, I think they're like an army book that they're issued for the soldiers. And it's very high quality, nice paper, holds ink well. And I use it to write down directions, people's names.
How many rounds he's played with someone?
Yeah, that's so.
So you have like an analog version of UDisc.
Do we each have a page in that book?
No, I haven't gotten that far yet. But
Okay. All right.
Do you have multiple notebooks? So you must have to like.
And you keep them all.
yeah, they're somewhere in a drawer. I mean, I don't really do anything with them after I've used the contents, but
Sure.
I could find stuff from
Fantastic.
10 years ago if I needed to.
That's amazing.
You have 10 years of those tiny books.
Probably more than that, but yeah.
Wow.
How
Talk us
long
through
does
this.
one book last?
It kind of depends on how active I've been. Like, probably this will last me until the fall because I'll be writing down my disc
Oh
golf
my god!
score.
So Patrick, you can leave. We're going to talk about this for the rest of the episode. You have
He has my
potentially
rounds
hundreds
recorded.
of those.
I wouldn't say that many. Probably 20, 30. It's not.
Oh,
Not
It could
too
be
bad.
20. It's probably 23 exactly, but it's in the 20s.
It's in the
somewhere.
20s.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not
If-
divulge
if
all
you
He
information.
knows how much.
If you play around with Jason, he probably has your scores written down.
It's there's a good chance if you
I need
ask
to
me
get
to
in that
or want me
book.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get into
Yeah.
that book.
Why do I feel the need to be in that book so
Yeah.
hard?
Dear Diary.
And
FOMO.
one of my favorite things to do when I'm bored is I draw pictures of my wife, and I'm a terrible artist. I don't know if you guys can see those, but they're very, very bad.
Do you show her?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
So,
Is she still married to you? Okay.
I'll just go quiet on a train sometime, and she's like, "Are you drawing a picture of me again?"
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure how the book is a substitution for a cell phone. Like if you tell me in lieu of text messages, you pass paper notes around,
Well,
like that kind of
sometimes,
stuff.
Like earlier in the podcast, I wanted to remind Patrick about his raffle, and so I wrote it on there and I passed it over to him. Like, Don't forget to mention the raffle. So this stuff happens. Yeah.
Did you fold it up like a student passing a note? In
Jason
class?
is
I just kind of slid it.
fascinated.
I just slid it over to
love
him
it.
gingerly. Yeah.
Do you have a different level of respect for students passing notes than most teachers?
Yeah, I would much rather than pass a note than text each other for sure.
Actually, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Encourage them to pass notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do something
It's a
physical.
lost art.
Yeah.
Sure.
Folding it
Text
up
is
the
just
certain way.
Hey,
and-
man.
Picture of your face.
Oh, and little
Hey,
footballs.
man. That's-
yeah.
Yeah.
Looking,
Seriously.
yeah.
Do something.
That would be
Yeah.
so cool to see
Use
the
your
paper
brain.
football flying across the room. I wouldn't even think anything of it. Just
Yeah.
like, cool.
Before we move on from this subject, I have a little story about passing notes in class. I forget the actual class, but doesn't matter. I was in
The
high
year
school.
is 1991.
2004, 3 or 4.
Okay.
So close.
We were
Mhm.
I had started this little activity with a couple of friends near me who we were drawing like really super inappropriate pictures of our teacher, and like the game was like, how inappropriate can you make the picture? And I won't describe what I had drawn this particular day, but you know, we're passing the pictures back and forth and cracking up. He sees it happening. Finally, he's very old, finally like catches on and walks right up to me and goes, "Give me whatever you just passed." And I just looked at him and I just threw it in my mouth. I just like, no way you're ever gonna see that. And I was like debating, am I gonna swallow? It was like a whole sheet of paper. I was like, am I gonna swallow this thing or not? And he looked at me and he goes, "You can either give me that, whatever's in your mouth, and maybe you'll get in trouble, or you swallow it and you're definitely getting a detention." And I was like, okay, I'll roll the dice. So I like took it out of my mouth, unfolded it, and gave it to him. And he was like, "Yeah, that's a detention." So he had submitted this. He took the picture, and there's a photocopy of it made that was attached to the detention that they made my parents sign.
No
So my dad was
way.
like, he saw the picture and had to sign it, and he mostly laughed. He was like, "That's pretty funny, but you obviously can't do that."
And see, nowadays it'd be all over social media. You'd be like a
Yeah.
celebrity for a few minutes.
Right.
Yeah, it could have been.
Great story.
That's my note passing story.
Great no passing story.
And then before we get to the real stuff, what started this? I'm not going to use a cell phone. Was there a really deliberate thing that I'm not going to do it, or
I was just slow to get one. All my friends had one, and at that point, it became part of me that I was the guy that didn't have a cell phone. And I just kind of leaned into it and said, "Okay, no phone."
I envy the freedom of knowing
Seriously.
nobody can reach you.
Yeah.
I think
My
it's
God.
it's cool, man. I
Yeah.
dig it.
You don't get 1,000 notifications a day that distract you. You're just living your life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, when I'm playing disc golf, it's me in the forest and the discs and
Okay,
some dudes.
It's
and a couple dudes.
couple dudes.
I know about disco.
All right, so let's talk about your respective disc golf in schools situations. You said your students came up to you and they were like, "We want to start a club."
Mhm.
And what is the process from there at Manuka? What did you have to do to make that happen?
Yeah, so like Josh Pleasy was there in the process too, and I'm not sure which one they came to first. If it was me or Josh or both at the same time, because we were both disc golfers. We disc golf together all the time. And our school is very good about starting clubs for students. They have what they call student-initiated groups. And so the teachers involved in these don't really get a heavy salary at all. It's just a few bucks a month. But if the teacher's willing to do it, then you can run a club for basically whatever you want, as long as the school board approves the idea. And so for a long time, we were just a student-initiated group that just had a handful of kids who like to play disc golf, and we would go out. The school is nice enough to let us use buses, which is awesome. 'Cause, we didn't have to pay for that. They just said, "Hey, you want to go to a course? Go for it." And that really helped us out a lot, because then you don't need to have your own baskets. You can just always go to a
Right.
course and play. And another thing we benefit from at Manuka is there's a 7-hole course at Summit Park, which is actually within walking distance of our central campus.
That's a big deal.
So for the first few weeks of every school year, we just walk. We meet at the school, we walk over there, and we show them the basics of disc golf. You know, here's how you throw the disc, lots of different ways. We do one week where we make up like artificial out of bounds to kind of practice some of those rules. And the kids they get hooked right away. Like, the one thing I want to tell people who might be listening, I know there's always it's too expensive.
What's that might be? We have 400 dedicated listeners, okay?
Yeah.
Take it
Well,
easy with the might be listening.
No, I'm
Continue,
sorry. I didn't mean
Jay.
that. No,
Continue.
Jason.
No, the might be refers to the people who might be thinking that, you know, they want to do it, but they can't do it. Like
Got
you
it.
get that a lot. Like there's all these
Okay.
different excuses out there for why they can't get a club together, or why they won't get a club together. And the thing is, guys, disc golf is super fun. Like, we all know that. That's why we're here.
Mhm.
And it's as easy as just putting a disc in a kid's hand and letting them throw it at the chains, and do that a couple times, and they are hooked. Like, it's the easiest thing for me to sell ever. Like, I bring one of my baskets out into the hallway, a stack of discs, and then that's how we get all our kids, because they get to see how fun it is.
There sounds like there was zero red tape at all for you.
Mhm.
What could have stopped this from actually happening? Like, what might have the school have had an issue with?
I guess if the school didn't have such a nice policy about forming clubs, then we could be in trouble, because we wouldn't be able to be official like through the school. And I don't know if they would just allow a teacher to meet with the students after school to play disc golf. So I think that would be one thing you have to look out for, is if the school doesn't approve it. Another thing Minooka has going for it is our PE program actually had disc golf as one of its units.
That's a huge deal.
Yes. And so by doing that, the students had experience with disc golf. And so when they do see it in the hallway, they see me throwing my discs, they know what it is, and they're interested in it even more because, hey, I remember that. That was really fun when we played it in PE.
Yeah.
And so that helps a lot too. And one of the biggest boons for us is, and this is a little bit sad, they've actually gone away from disc golf now, but because of that, they've gifted us their baskets. So now our club has 9 baskets that we can use for whatever we want. And that's enabled us to do an indoor putting league, kind of modeled off the prison putting league and the haunted house putting league. We go up staircases, down staircases, through doorways. It's a blast. Like people see us and they go, "What are you doing?" And like the teachers, and
That's what you want, is more teachers. 100%.
Yeah.
The maintenance ladies yell at you.
Yeah, they're not super happy about
Are
that
they
sometimes.
scuffing up the gym floors or something?
We're doing it in the hallway, so it's
They
the
just-
hallways.
They don't want it in the hallway.
But you know what? The cross country team, they run all the time in the hallway, so we're not doing anything worse than they are. Sorry, Patrick.
We go outside,
Yeah.
country,
Does the school support you in a way that insurance and everything extends to wherever you travel?
I think that's pretty standard. Like they have $1 million umbrella policies at most schools where
Okay.
if a kid gets hurt, they're covered as long as it is sponsored. That's why he was saying it's important to get sponsored
Got it.
through
Okay.
the school.
That would be my number one question, is like, you guys travel and then something happens, then well, that's great.
So this is pretty close to home for me, because we, trying to promote disc golf in the city is a lot of like underprivileged areas where kids have literally never heard of disc golf, never seen a basket before. Where we want to try and get disc golf into schools, it starts with like, are any kids going to care? You might have staff who want to do it, and still, if no kids are interested, then where do you go from there? So what we're actually working with Noble Charter Schools, and we are the process we're gonna take is, before they break for the summer, we're gonna do a putting league style gym class like unit, just like a day where all the kids are gonna try it out, and then afterwards see, did anybody have a good time with this? Is there interest in doing more of this? And if so, maybe it can become part of the PE curriculum. And from there, maybe there's a club or there's, a program that gets developed. But first, it starts with, how do we even see if any kids know about this or would be interested? So you have a huge leg up that you guys already had it as part of the PE curriculum.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how it became part of the PE? Like, when did that start? Or what's the story there?
I don't know the history of that, but that'd be something interesting to find out.
I actually know for our school, we had it same. It's kind of like this similar story to Jason, how it started. But I know that our PE department did have a couple baskets, and they had a couple discs, and it was part of recreation activities. So like they do like a PE unit on like can jam and spike ball, and
Cool.
disc golf was in there. I don't know how much our PE department actually did with the disc golf, because if you don't have someone who knows what they're doing,
Right.
can help organize it to keep it safe, because otherwise you just got kids throwing around discs.
Right.
Like that's probably not a great idea when you have 3,500 students at a school. Like
Yeah.
not a great choice.
Well, not only that, but they're going to have a bad experience, and then they're never going to experiment with it later if it's not presented to them properly, right? That's huge.
Do you happen to, wait, Patrick, did you say that you guys have it in your PE curriculum as well?
We had it in the PE curriculum. I know that I'm going to be helping out one of the PE teachers at West this year when they do it during my plan period and my lunch.
Okay.
But then one period he's not doing it. So they do it like it's coming up pretty fast.
So are either of you utilizing the Uplay like teaching curriculum? Like they have a book specifically for teaching kids at schools.
No, I haven't heard that yet.
Definitely look that up. You can order them on their website, and I'm sure it'll make the PE teachers' lives a hell of a lot easier.
Nice. In the notebook.
He's writing it
Jason's
in
texting
the
about it right
notebook.
now.
Boy, where'd that pen come from?
So-
It's going in the cloud right now.
Yeah. So while you
Love
do
it.
that,
It's actually, it looks like a notebook, but it's an e-notebook. And
It's
it's,
a-
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
it
a
is
tablet.
literally like,
yeah, it's like, bloop. Yeah.
he's got something better than a cell phone, and we don't know it. We're just busting his balls.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so you guys make it sound like it's as easy as just ask if you want to get it started in your school. But then what's baffling to me is like in the mailbag, Wonderkin Patrick
Mhm.
said, "How do I get a disc golf club at my school?" Is he literally? I can't imagine he didn't ask.
Well, don't these things have to be
Like, yeah,
teacher
like-
sponsored in the first place?
Like usually they get like I got approached by students as well as Jason did. And when I was approached by students, then you have to have a sponsor. So I said I was willing to sponsor it. School approved it. we don't get paid as teacher. I don't get paid at my school for it. You have to have, I don't know what the number is. You have to have so many students for so many years before they'll pay you, before it becomes an official club. And then if your numbers dwindle, they'll pay anyway. But
I wonder if Uplay would help change the way that the schools are thinking of that, because then there's a curriculum and there's, I mean, how I get it that it's just a club and you guys go play disc golf and they're not learning much or whatever, but now they've got a curriculum where they're being tested. Like, is that going to change? I wonder if that's going to change things for what it looks like,
to sell for sure,
right,
to the school,
right.
And I can
that's
share
what I
that
wanna see.
our club just became like officially recognized as a club where we get a stipend last year. It took us 7 years to get to that point.
Wow.
And just like Patrick said, you have to demonstrate that there's a consistent demand, that there's a lot of students coming every year, and that it's a sustained interest. And so that was a big benchmark for us to get to that point. Now, if I could say something else about starting a club, that I just want to give a big shout out to a couple people real quick, Dana Vici and Kevin McCuba, because they were both instrumental in our club's success. Kevin, yes, Josh Pleasy reached out to him at one point and said, hey, we're starting a club. We need discs. And he put together a big package for us. Just all these discs. Some of them were used. Some of them were brand new. And we're still, to this day, lending those out to kids, giving them to kids away as CTPs. Like, just a massive amount. And so for people who are like hesitant to start a club, reach out to the local community, reach out to the local club. Like, you would be amazed at how many guys are willing to just throw discs at you. Just say,
100%.
I've got 50 discs in my trunk that aren't being used. It's way easier than you think. Just reach out to that community. People want to help.
And people have way more discs than they know what to do with. And they're like, wait, I can use it for a good cause?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You will be, I don't want to say you'll drown in donations from people, but like, yeah, when we started saying we're trying to get, beginner friendly discs for kids in the city to be able to use, I've got a whole Haaker rack at my house now full of discs that people have just been like, yep, please use these.
You lead to a perfect comment that was in the mailbag from Eric Vetter. He said, I don't know about anyone else, but if I showed up to tags and someone asked me to donate discs for the local school, I would have a few for them. Most players I play with would. Probably even a basket or two. Local pros would love to get their name out there with stuff like that, and they can post all over social media. So I think that's another opportunity that definitely needs to be taken advantage of.
Great comment from Eric. Thanks for that comment, Eric.
And of course, there's another resource. I forget the name of it, but there's a shop in Lockport.
Somewhere. I don't know. We could probably figure something out.
I think they have disc golf discs, but
get you guys a couple minis or something.
Is it at the canyons?
It
no,
could
that's
be.
not the name.
No,
You're
I think
close.
it's
We're
called,
dancing around.
it's like the crevices or something.
Yeah,
That's it.
the
That's
crevices. The crevices.
Oh, wow, man.
Yep.
And real quick, if I could talk about Dana Vici.
Write that down in the book.
Who?
Yeah, write that down in the book.
Yeah, please. The crevices.
We're going to need that later.
So Dana Vici was actually subbing at our school, and he happened to talk to Josh Pleasy during lunch one day, and they got onto the topic of disc golf, and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of a pro. And we didn't know who he was at this point because, he's just a dude in our school.
You just thought he was like a trapeze artist.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. There it is. I was trying to get there, you dick.
And Dana's like, well, I want to help out with the club because he was living in Minooka at the time. And he had went through the whole process of, getting the background check and getting certified to the school. And he actually would come out and coach our students for a little bit. And at that point, I didn't know anything about disc golf. So I didn't know who he was or his record or his history. It took a couple of YouTube searches to figure out, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And unfortunately, he's since moved away over to Milkina, but he's still available to help out anytime we would ask him. And so the other thing I would say is, just like you mentioned, Jason, reaching out to the community, you'll be amazed at who would step forward and say, hey, let's give a little clinic. Let's even Paul Macbeth, right? Like, he does that around the world.
Right.
Sorry, hit the microphone.
I've heard he does that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have to think that the schools would light up at the opportunity to not just say, hey, here's a thing that we want to start doing. It's an activity I want to start, introducing to the students, but I would like to bring in a professional player to do a demonstration or a clinic. There's some power in like how you can sell, and that's such an easy resource. You have to think of all the local pros that would be happy to show up.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like, context, though, a lot of people in Joliet know what disc golf is, but a lot of people think of it as something that you go to the woods and drink and smoke weed. Like, not a lot of people. So, like, kind of when I brought it up, that was a joke that was made, and they're like, oh, you're serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious about starting this. I want to go and do this. So, like, that's
no, totally. We're still
stigma against the
overcoming
program
that,
with schools. Yeah.
We're still overcoming that identity, 100%. But it takes guys like you, and it takes like the people who are dedicated, the movers and shakers, to raise the awareness and educate the people who have facilities and programming opportunities that there's more to it. And it's not a snap of a finger. Like, it's, how many years was your club? You said 7 years?
7 years until we got recognized as an official club.
Wow.
other than just a student-initiated group.
Sure.
So speaking of programming opportunities, Amy Laskowski said in the mailbag that the educational disc golf experience is a great resource. What are you guys familiar with that? What is she referring
Jane
to?
does.
Yeah, Jane. Yeah, she mentions them. Jane does reading, doing big things for kids in schools. What is that in reference to? What's she talking about? What is Edge?
I know that it exists, and
When there's a star frame.
They do donations. I know Edge.
Yeah.
Like Ricky Wysocki, I applied for the Ricky Wysocki.
You watch that
where
on your
he
iPhone?
But
Between
then Edge
classes,
also
yeah.
does the same thing where they'll donate baskets and like resources. I know that they have like a scholarship, or I don't know what to call it, a grant.
Right.
I guess is what it would be.
Sheila?
I just looked it up, and they offer packages to schools. So, like at a big discount, you can get discs and baskets and whatever you need to get your club started. So, just like you play,
Yeah,
Edge does
and
the
they've been
same
doing
thing.
it for
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
some time.
Yep.
Years
Yeah,
and
it's
years and years.
Yeti?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Yeti
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of times people point to like the cost of baskets as something that gets in the way of starting a club. But don't forget how disc golf started. Like target golf is the thing, right? Just pick a tree and throw to it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you do have one basket's enough. You just make different tee pads from different locations with different obstacles. Like we did that for the first few years before we had all the baskets. It doesn't take a whole lot.
A local vendor helped us out. Like I wrote a grant, and then some local vendor hooked us up and made sure we got them at cost. So it was able to get a couple of baskets for us right away. That's
I mean,
Sean.
that's always like my pickle, because I want
Over at the crevices.
At the crevices,
Yeah,
right?
right, okay,
I want to
yeah.
do more with the schools, but I don't want to be that guy that is coming from the business standpoint of, well, I'm trying to get the kids into the thing. Let's give them sugar. But like,
Get them hooked.
like
First one's free,
how
kids.
do I approach the school? Like, what do I need to do? Who do I need to speak to go, hey, I am that local vendor and I donate baskets everywhere.
You've got a
I
big
want
white
to
van with
give-
no windows, so
Yeah.
great start.
If you-
good
if
start.
you-
Free candy
if
for
you-
kids.
start.
Yeah.
If it'll help, I could show up with you. I mean, I
you've
have a
got
really good
another white
presence.
If you
van.
reached
I've
out
got
to
a
an
white van, too.
AD would love to say that they started this at their school. And I know it's a lot to ask on you.
Yeah.
But if you send out an email to ADs, like they'll
That's
be the
an
ones that will find someone and say, oh,
Athletic director is what he
Yes.
is.
yeah, they'll be the ones that just send out and say, can someone sponsor this? I want to start this, because they like starting things, especially since it's listed as an emerging sport, IHSA.
In fact, Manuka is the only one on the website right now, Patrick. We got to get you on there.
What?
Whoa.
How does Jason know that and you don't?
I
It's
know
on a
sport.
website.
I bet
Well,
it's
it's
in
in
his
his-
notebook.
Because he's the
What's in
only
his
one who
notebook?
applied. He
In the
applied online probably right before we got
Hillary
here.
Holden, our AD, did that. She does it on our behalf.
So
every
the
year.
athletic director is who I need to speak with to go, hey, let me donate some baskets and some discs. You do the rest,
Mhm.
right? Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I know Lockport. We were trying to get Lockport because there was a kid who came to our event. It was just a singular kid that had friends that were coming, and he came, but he couldn't get a sponsor for the program like at Lockport. So sometimes there is some struggles with that. Maybe the kid doesn't know what their teacher plays though, so
Right.
that might be the issue too.
So we have a couple different members of Disc Golf Chicago who are either working on or already bringing disc golf to their school. Shout out to Ryan Aquino, who's working on it right now with his son's school. And his son is young, like his son Odin, which is like the best name for a kid ever. I think Odin's got to be like 8 maybe or so. So you
It's
have
like
to.
Nora's age, I think, maybe 6 or 7.
It's got to be in
Yeah,
that
something like
range. But it's so different to having high schoolers who already know what it is. I want to talk a little bit about what is it like if you're starting truly from scratch. Like you're the teacher at the school, you love the sport, now you want to try to bring it to your school. Where would you start if you were in a situation like that?
And I'm gonna tack on one more thing, because in the mailbag, Rich Bintum, is that how you say his last name? Do you guys know him? No?
I don't know.
He commented, I think it's tough to get into school when we don't have the resources to buy out normal equipment, let alone a new subject like disc golf. Basic discs and cheap baskets are still expensive. Wish we could get a grant for this somehow. So, I mean, there's a point there. It might be a bit of a stretch to call them too expensive, but
Yeah.
he's still making a point that I think we're headed in that direction in this conversation.
I think as the pros get more and more recognized as a brand, like Ricky Wysocki, he was giving out, when he first went to Dynamic, he was giving out baskets. Like he was giving out 9-hole courses. And you just had to write a grant. I don't know how many he gave out, but I know that there were schools. I applied for that one.
I know that Garrett Gerthy has a kids foundation. Obviously, I think a lot of these pros have, there's grants and resources for that. But honestly, I just cannot imagine that getting your hands on $100 Chain Star Light is difficult. Like I would say, if anybody works at a school and is worried that they're not going to be able to get the funds to get a basket and or some discs, send me a DM. and I'll either reach into my own pocket or crowdsource it. And I'm sure
Mhm.
anybody in the community would be like, here's $5 to get another basket at a school.
Mhm.
It'd be so easy to raise like those little chunks of money just to get the school started.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that the funding to get at least the startup material is the barrier. I would think that the school and the bureaucracy is the stopping point. That's a tough sell for me to tell me that we can't get equipment for the kids.
This is going to go in a slightly negative direction. We always make jokes at West that there's something in Minooka's water. Like we don't know what it is, but like you go to a track meet and like, you know, we got our like, you know, 37 kids like at our track meet and they show up with 2 buses and there's like, you know, like 142 people coming off the buses, like ready to run. And you're like running in a sea of orange because some schools like Minooka, they do a good job at getting people to get involved. Getting students to get involved in athletics. And then I think that continues on. Like, that's how I felt when we had disc golf competitions with each other is there's a sea of orange and then there's like 7 of us. So I think some of it is getting students to buy in is definitely a challenge.
So you're making the students buy the equipment.
No, not buy. Got me.
Well, how dare you?
What do you think is the solution to getting students to buy in if they have,
So,
you know?
I was going to share something we do every year. We have a freshman, like incoming freshman night or activity fair where they have all the clubs who kind of demonstrate what we are. And students love free things and they love candy. So you set up a basket, you set up like a 15-foot putt. They make it, they get a piece of candy. And you would be amazed at the conversion rate we have just from that little activity.
You know how much better a putter I would be if you offered me candy every time I made a putt?
And then I brought something else to show you guys. You can't see it, of course, if you're listening, but this is called a Wobobo Wingman. Have you guys ever seen one of these?
No.
It's a little floppy disk. You can fold it, put it in your pocket. So in the passing period, almost every single day, I'm throwing that to kids. So as they walk by me, I throw it to them. And if I forget to throw it to a kid, they'll like yell at me like, "Where's the pizza today?" Because it's a pizza. That's the print that's on the disc.
It does look just like a tiny
that's so
cheese
cool.
pizza.
And so like I'll go sub for a classroom and they're like, "Hey, you're the pizza guy." And I'm like, "Yeah." Because
I'm also a teacher.
yeah, exactly. But it's just it's a real light, real floppy. It's like rubbery. And it's just a really easy way to get the kids to see that it's fun to throw a disc, you know?
Dude.
And like I feel like that also lends itself toward getting kids interested. Like,
Yeah.
and there's no chains involved, right? It's just playing catch with this little disc, and sometimes you hit them in the face, and you feel bad about it, but you laugh. And we actually played a game of guts today in my class with that. Yeah, it was fun.
Nice.
Out in front of the school. So if you were driving by about 1:30 at Minooka and wondering why there were kids whipping discs at each other, it was a floppy rubber disc. They weren't getting hurt.
Jason, do you know what guts is?
I don't. I was hoping that you weren't going to make me sound like an asshole. So thank you, but no, it's guts.
It is my
Yeah.
favorite game to play with a Frisbee.
So I've never actually formally played it. I've only read about it and seen YouTube videos of it, but it's basically 5 guys standing opposite each other.
I'm listening.
And they are
Love their burgers,
hurling.
by the way.
How would you describe it? Like, what kind of disc is it?
It's an ultimate Frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
And you
It's
stand.
smaller than an ultimate disc.
It's
it?
it's
I've
like
always-
a dog,
Yeah, it's about
like a dog disc.
75%.
Oh, like a free
Like
throw?
100 gram or
Ever
something.
played
Yeah,
with
it's like a freestyle.
It's like
Okay.
Red Rover
Yes,
with
yes.
like
yes.
Yeah.
like dodgeball and Red Rover and a disc combined.
You're
Yeah.
trying to throw the disc
Oh.
through the opposing line, and they can only use like one hand to try to catch it or to knock it up in the air.
Oh,
And the goal is to
Then
not let it hit
catch
the
it.
ground or get through your line.
So if you
Sounds like
catch
fun.
it,
Yeah.
if you catch it, you get points. And so everyone's throwing it as hard as possible at the other side.
Uh-huh.
And you're then trying to catch a very fast thrown disc.
Mhm.
And so there's, naturally a lot of like people get hit a lot, which
Yeah,
is
definitely.
a lot
Bunch
of fun.
different angles, so you don't know which way it's going.
Right,
Like that's
right.
the whole thing. Is like you're
Very
trying to
fun.
trip them up.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hammers and all sorts of various throws that are different than maybe what you would see in disc golf.
Use
That's
hammers?
over
Yeah.
over your head.
Oh,
not,
yeah,
a,
okay.
not a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game took a turn.
Yeah. I want to qualify my previous statement because I feel like I made it sound like, what are you doing if you can't figure out how to fund stuff? That's not what I meant. I didn't mean like it's not hard to do. I meant I'm surprised that is the tripping point and not the bureaucracy of the school. I know it's difficult to fundraise. I get that.
Sure.
I just wanted to say that because in my head I was like, wow, I sound like a jagoff.
I followed you, but I'm sure there were some people who were like, hey.
Yeah.
Ryan
No,
sounds
I
like
get
a
that.
jagoff.
Ryan,
That's just
the
not
jagoff.
where I thought it would be hung up.
Right.
Yeah.
I with fundraising too in schools, like a lot of times it's easy. It's amazing how generous local businesses are. Like they will freely hand out products, money, whatever you
Yeah,
need
you
to
just
get
don't
things.
pay for it. You just walk out with whatever you want. Yeah.
But they will do that. Like local businesses are awesome with that. But with a school, sometimes everyone does the same fundraisers, and like fundraising gets stale. As a teacher, fundraising gets stale. That's why we're doing the April 30th is because it's different. And my athletic
Yeah.
director is like, he thinks he's gonna win. Like my athletic director has never played disc golf. He's like, oh, I'm gonna play. I'll win this. He's like, oh, we got trophy discs. Like I'm gonna win that trophy disc. I'm like, I don't think you understand. It's like a real sport.
Yeah.
People actually care and like we'll try to win. And
Right.
but like the staleness is kind of like, how many times can you buy popcorn?
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Right.
I think that's on the rise too. Like
Popcorn.
like golf tournaments for fundraisers. That's been happening for forever. There's no reason why we can't do more disc golf. And obviously, you guys are doing it. You're doing it. There's the American Camp Association. I talked about this on a previous episode. They're doing their first ever disc golf fundraiser to send underprivileged kids to summer camp. That's actually an event that's happening in like less than 2 weeks. They used your exact reason. Like, we've never done it. This seems interesting. We're going to try it.
I'm also trying to sneak in a course possibility on my campus for the PE program, because if my athletic director plays and he's like, this is awesome, this is great, like permanent baskets, like when you can say, okay, we're going to take this group out to this field, we're going to take this group, and maybe they're not playing the hole that was designed, but there's a basket that's there that they don't set up, that they don't have to bring back in, that would make it more accessible too.
Just for them to see a disc golf basket.
Right.
Just so they know what that is, instead of, 20 years old and they're like, what is this?
Totally.
How do they not know yet?
Do you remember the first time you played? I remember 120-foot flex shots with like champion orc.
Right.
It's disc golf, but it's not what I know now and what I love, like manipulating and getting the flight. Like it's doing what I want. And I think kids have to see that, like that. No, you can actually make it do different things. Like the disc goes where you want it to. They have to see that rather than kind of like flailing, slipping out of your hand and hyzering out really early.
I'll tell you, one of the best things is when you teach the kids all the ways you can putt. How to turbo, how to forehand putt, how to do all the crazy chicken wing type stuff, because they get addicted to it and they want to do it nonstop. So if you do ever see high school students on the course throwing forehand putts and throwing all sorts of weird ways, you can blame me. But.
My club had
single-handedly responsible.
Yeah,
all the
weirdness you see on the course. It's me.
My club had a parent who was obsessed with turbo putting. So this kid brought turbo putting, and for like couple weeks, like all they wanted to do was turbo putt, and I'm like, there's Johnny McRae's the only person that can turbo putt. Like this is it's not a real thing, but it is a real thing.
The parents, though, that's one of the questions I had was, what is the relationship like with you guys with the students' parents, and how do they feel about disc golf? Like, is there a large percentage that have an issue with it? What does that look like?
I wish I had a number for you, but a lot of them have parents who play or have played, and that's one of the reasons the students are in the club in the first place, is their parents are supporting it. But I've also had plenty of students who the student just chose to play it and the parents have no idea what it is, and they talk to me at the end of a practice like, this seems fun, and I'm like, come on out and play with us. We've had parents join us for rounds before. I remember one time we had a parent join us on a wet day at Highland Park, and if you guys have ever had a wet day at Highland Park,
we just had one.
We just did.
Yeah, you're sliding all over the place, and like I'm thinking, oh great, someone's gonna get hurt and this is gonna be the end of the club, but they still had a blast even in all the mud and all the wetness.
I'm curious about how far away are we from having it as like wrestling, baseball, where schools are competing against other schools. What is the gap between where we're at and where we want to be? What does that look like?
I think it's surprisingly close, because of, if you look at a lot of players, there are more young players now. Like with COVID, one thing that happened was a lot of people got outside and they brought their kids.
Yep.
Like it was a walk in the park, and I think that is definitely showing up now. More people know what it is when I talk to them. Like they know what disc golf is, or they know somebody who plays. So like, I think it will become a high school sport fairly quickly, where we're doing, interscholastic competitions. Like it's going to happen fast.
Yeah. IHSA has a website that says emerging sports, and they have a list of all these really cool sports that you can play. And they have a list of the schools underneath it that currently have a program for it. And like I said, right now, disc golf only has one. So if you're listening
in the
to
state
this,
of Illinois,
yes. And if you're listening to this and you have a program, make sure you get on that website, because the more schools we can get into that list, the closer we are.
Right.
The closer we are to making that a reality. Because can you imagine lettering in disc golf?
Right.
Like that's the dream.
See, the next step for me, like the high school that I went to, we didn't have football as part of our program. There was football, but it wasn't directly associated with the high school, right? It was like an extracurricular.
Where did you go to
thing.
school? Like what state?
In Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Right? Because soccer was big in our high school, so it wasn't football. But I remember playing that, and you would play against other high schools, but it wasn't real. Like it wasn't a high school sport. So I wonder what that structure was like and how that was governed as far as a league. And that's what I think in my head, like maybe not directly high school to high school related, but like extracurricular, but associated with the high schools because that's what you call the team or, whatever. So that's kind of like the middle ground. And I can see that forming much easier than like high schools putting together an entire program for it.
I mean, colleges have disc golf. I mean, like they just got done with
They
it.
just did it last weekend. Yeah.
And I mean, I've played in tournaments with people that were at ISU or U of I, like that. They were on the disc golf team. One of the kids had scholarship, like he got money for it. Now, whether it was big scholarship or not,
Sure.
If that happens, that's another avenue where people are like, oh, I should start playing. And if we kind of adopted a format, they got a weird format. Like they have like the two doubles teams that make up one doubles team. Like you alternate shot. Like it was confusing.
And then,
but
huge
I saw
singles thing. Yeah.
As much as guys don't like this, I think I'd probably want to model it after ball golf in terms of what they do for high school.
That's what I was going to suggest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Golf. Yeah.
Golf.
I wanted to shout out one of our members, Mike Stahara. He teaches up in, I think it's the Albany Park area in Chicago. He started a disc golf club, and he started to really get kids interested by using another program, basically. So he was coaching the robotics team, and whenever there was big robotics meets, he would bring a basket and just set it up so that while people are spectating or in between matches, there's somebody putting on a basket like off to the side, and then constantly people are like, what is that?
Yes.
And just encouraging, putting it in people's hands as they come through the event. And from there, now he's got a disc golf club that's got a fairly little, active membership. I don't really know how many members they have, but now it's been going on a couple of years. And I love the idea that you're piggybacking on other events where you've got kids who want to be active, who are engaged with things, and you're just get it in front of their eyes.
Yeah.
Totally. That's great to hear. And to that I say, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Hey.
And disc golf has another advantage.
He waited like 20 full minutes for that.
Jason just moves past it. He's like, yeah, okay.
You guys know the classic noise that it makes when you hit the chains, right?
Right.
And people are like, what
No,
is
I'm not
that?
familiar.
Yeah.
What is that noise? Like they all want to know where that's coming from. And then they're like, oh, that's something I can do?
I was going to ask you, I feel really weird when I pull out the baskets like right after school and there's like, it's clanking all over and like, I feel awkward. Like
Nah,
I can't handle loud noises
Embrace
in
it.
a small indoor space. Like it's not supposed to be like
Patrick, you and I couldn't be more opposite. I would be shaking it, trying to get everybody's attention.
Yeah.
This thing makes noise when I move it.
I mean, I put towels around like the pole and stuff like that to make sure that doesn't make too much noise.
You're,
Blasphemy.
Yeah, you're.
I know it sounds weird then, but
Counterproductive. But I'm thinking about like football games, baseball games. You're gonna have a huge audience. Just show up, put a basket out there, and you're gonna steal some people's attention.
the players as we have a little kid throw the disc into the field.
Yeah,
exactly.
Ricky did something at a football game this season.
Yeah, he threw it.
Really
Yeah, from one end to through the uprights at the other side.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then he did that. I don't know how many it took, but you only see the one shot, and he splits them, and then he high steps and raptor legs around along the stands and like throws discs out into the crowd.
That's
It's
so
cool.
cool.
The old timers did that too. That was like the old timers used to go to baseball games and like when I say old timers, like the Dave Dunapace and all them, they used to have like the multiple sports. It was like at like halftime shows. Like I know I saw old YouTubes of that.
Freestyle.
Very
and-
cool.
Yeah. But they had disc golf on there too. Like they had like distance competitions and
I just wanted to throw Disc Golf Chicago out as a resource to anybody that's considering starting. We're not experts, but we are very like engaged and passionate about this. So we will give whatever resources we can, whatever guidance, consulting. Another member, Ryan Braun, is just starting a club at his school. Even from the basic things of like, hey, we want a logo for our club. Literally whatever kind of resource you might need help with as a teacher or somebody who's trying to bring disc golf to schools, drop us a line. We'll do whatever we can for you. Please don't be shy. And I'm sure the same is true for Delwood and
Totally.
Yeah,
you're getting a message from me for a logo.
I'd
Would
love
love
to
to.
see the results of the flex and see if we can get some permanent baskets installed at the school. That'd be great, man. I would be happy to donate.
You were talking about the logo.
I'll come up with
in
a
my
crevice logo
in my
right
academy
now.
they do like kind of like the Callahan rundown, like where you talk about your club, and they made it make disc golf great again. And they had like a Donald Trump like this.
oh boy,
That was our
Here we
logo.
go.
I'm like, you gotta get rid of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
divisive.
It's too
We're trying
too
to grow the
political.
sport.
Too political.
Grow the sport.
Hey, to be fair, the people who liked it would really like it.
Yeah, that's true.
The other half of people would be like, come on.
It was not flattering caricature, though.
I'm okay with that. Is there anything else that you guys, I feel like we got to get the destination penetration here pretty soon, but is there anything else that you guys feel like has been unsaid at this point?
Check
Or
the notebook,
yeah.
Jason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I thanked Sean and Sheila and everyone else in the J-Town community just for the opportunities to come play in the haunted house, or to, like Patrick and I's club, our very first event was in the prison. We did a
Thank
part.
you, Grab a Boy.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was like a part 2 event where the kids got to tee
That
off
was so much
and then
fun.
finish the putt. We made an announcement the next day at school, said last night 25 students from Minooka Community High
Went to
School
jail.
went to jail. And then I said pause and played disc golf. And it was an awesome announcement. All the teachers came up to me like, that was a great announcement.
Dude.
I can't believe you guys got to play in a prison. They thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Just like we did.
Fantastic.
So you did make the notebook. You just didn't know it yet.
Nice. I want a score in there, though.
I am just big fans of what you guys are doing. Kudos, major kudos, and I hope
sure.
listeners are anyone who's any kind of affiliation to a school is getting some gas in their tank from this because the more kids that start playing, that's going to increase the need for more facilities, more events. Like it all starts with the kids, and it's not going to come from anybody but the passionate players in this community. Well, in every disc golf community, but think about the ripple effect of what can happen if you just ask the question, hey, can we bring a club here?
And if you're a high school coach, reach out to us and we'd love to set something up. A scrimmage, a little match against each other, even if it's just for fun. We'll meet somewhere in the middle and we'll have some fun with it.
Can we do that soon? The two of you guys, schools?
Oh,
Like, when would be the
please.
next time that we could do that? Set it up
For
at
us, it'd probably
Deli?
be August.
I'm coaching, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to do fall.
Fall time?
Well,
Mhm.
Let's please.
fall's hard. Nah.
Please, let's set it
winter,
up.
we'll
Figure
do
it out.
We'll figure something out.
We will do it.
Figure it out.
A grudge day.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've got more stuff to cover, but that was just awesome stuff, guys. It's time now for Destination Penetration Round 2.
Oh, yeah.
Jason, give us the rundown on what happened in the last round.
So last time we visited, we took the Western Division down to its final 4.
Ooh, go back further. What is Destination Penetration?
Yeah. All right, so we started Destination Penetration with 16 of the top free courses as shown on the UDisc app. We kind of broke those into a Western and Eastern Division, and we're just having a quick conversation about the course itself and maybe some stuff to do locally. Quit looking at my sheet,
Patrick.
We're just discussing things.
Eyes on your own paper.
Eyes on
sir.
your own paper, sir. We're discussing some benefits of the course, how it's played, its pros and cons, and then pros and cons of the community itself. And then you guys are deciding of the two we put it against, which one you would choose to go to. Last time we played, we saw the Western Division go down to its final 4, so that is going to put Crockhole up against the Diavolo, and it's going to put Wildcat Bluff up against Puyo.
Puyo Kyokyo.
Kyopyo.
Kyopyo.
But that's what happened last time. Today we're going to start the Eastern Division. So we have
And
go ahead.
the stakes on what happens when we get
oh,
to
that's
the
true.
end.
Yeah. When we take this down to its ultimate winning course, we are going to decide to go there. Maybe do an episode while we're there. That'll be fun.
Sure.
A remote episode.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
We're going to go play one of these.
But we're going to go
destination
play it
courses.
regardless.
Puyo
So-
Kyopyo.
Puyo Kyopyo. So on the Eastern Division, we have 8 courses that we've paired up into 4 matchings. I think we'll just start with the first one. I don't have to list
That's
them all
where
right
you
now.
usually start?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll
Go
start
ahead.
with the first one.
Okay. Go
So,
ahead, Jason. Whenever
our
you're ready. I've been waiting for this for
first
3 weeks.
Matchup.
Ooh, set
We'll
the stage
see.
a little bit. Also, Sheila has set the TV up with course maps of all the courses we're going to be talking about. There's photos from all the courses. We're also going to get some insights on like the local things to do. So the deucing never stops.
Our first matchup is going to see Kipasuo Pro Disc Golf Course in Heinola, Finland.
Wow, great job.
Thank you. Population of Heinola is 18,349. There are 18 holes, turf tees with multiple layouts available.
I like those paths. Those are cool.
It is part of a multi-course complex called Heinola Disc Golf Park.
Is that
Ever
a
heard of it?
That's a
World.
racetrack?
Disc Golf Park World. Holy cow.
Disc Golf Park World.
Kipasoa Pro DGP is the best and most difficult course of all the Heinola Disc Golf Park. It's a 16-hour flight to Helsinki, one of the coldest cities in the world,
Ooh, strike one.
and is only a 1 hour and 42-minute drive to Heinola from there. It is home of Prodigy Disc Pro Tour on September 8th through the 10th of 2023. And other things to do in that area is you can visit one of 3 million different saunas in the country.
What?
Ooh, take that strike away.
There's
Or-
3 million saunas in the country.
That's what my sheet says. Or you can go boating in a harbor. Did you know that Helsinki is home to the band Him? Interesting information there for you.
Oh.
So that is
Wow.
Kipasuo.
Yeah, the photos look almost on par with Krokholm
Yes, big time.
in Norway.
Big time.
These look phenomenal
I want to go there
in the summertime,
in the summertime. Yeah.
for sure.
In the summertime. I didn't say earlier, but that was a second seeded course. And we have put it up against 15 seeded Neatman Creek in Germantown, North Carolina. Germantown has a population.
Germantown?
Germantown.
Germantown.
This says town.
wrong.
Germantown.
North Carolina. As of
Germantown. It's called Germantown.
Germantown. As of 2010, Germantown has a population of only 827 people.
Wow.
But that was
looks-
13 years ago, so maybe they're up to 828 by now.
Danger.
Dude, look at that whole 9.
It has
that was
18 holes, Prodigy T1 targets, and turf tees. It is an 11.5-hour drive from here to get to Germantown. It has one smart layout. You must pre-register in order to receive the address. That's pretty interesting.
Whoa. Private.
Donations accepted. There is a pro shop on site.
What do we know about
A
that?
little competition. Other things to do is you can visit the Pro Shots shooting range or take a quick drive to Winston-Salem and visit the Reynolda House Museum of American Art and the Hanging Rock State Park. Did you know that Winston-Salem is known for its tobacco and cigarette industry, and the city is fondly nicknamed the Camel City for the world's most famous cigarette brand that started there in 1875.
I'm sold.
So you guys have all the information. Let's discuss. Alex, lead us off.
I hate to say it's a no-brainer, but I wasn't even close. Once I saw Neatman Creek, the photos, there seems to be a lot of water, which I like. It's obviously really pretty. I like that I could drive there. It's not going to cost me nearly as much. I like the whole tobacco piece. That's neat. Yeah, and I like that you have to pre-register. That's cool.
Yeah.
I've never
I have
had
a
to do
question
that, yeah.
though. If they have a pro shop, can you go into the pro shop without pre-registering? Why would you have to do that? To
That
find,
wouldn't-
like
yeah,
that would be.
that's
To
bad
find
business.
the location, to get the address, right?
I
Isn't
know,
that what
but
it said?
why would you have to do
Yeah.
like, hey,
So,
we're selling stuff,
like a
but you
speakeasy.
can't go there unless you
Yeah,
ask.
it is a
You
little
gotta know.
speakeasy. Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
easy.
know. That's weird.
It almost sounds like Trinity.
Come on, Mike
Zing!
Trinity. Get him, Jay.
I'm going Neatman Creek for sure.
Noted.
Creek. Okay, right.
So
Ryan.
I said that Kipasuo Pro was almost on par with Krokholm, and it's because it was ranked number 2 behind the
Oh,
number 1.
Crocodle's
Yeah.
number 1, yes. Fair enough.
yes.
And it does look phenomenal, but I don't want to say I don't want to go to Finland, but when I can go to North Carolina and hit this course and then go to like Diavolo and hit, like some of the best disc golf in the country in North Carolina,
Kipasuo is a complex, though. How many courses there?
Oh, that is information that I had earlier.
A whole world's worth of them.
It is.
yeah,
Right.
It's a disc golf world.
Disc Golf
Yeah.
Park World.
Disc golf park world.
This isn't Super Mario Brothers Land.
But it's a complex.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
multiple
World.
courses. So when you go to this one course,
They have
you are
worlds
playing
in Super Mario.
many courses.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I
It's SNES, not NES.
right.
No.
I think I'd have to go to Neatman Creek. I think I there's just something about North Carolina courses that just draw me in.
Same.
Yeah.
And I've never been there. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but like I need to want to go there.
Yeah.
One thing I should note for you guys who are playing for the first time is you can make this decision based on whatever you want. It's
based on nothing.
yeah, whatever you would choose for whatever reason you want to choose it.
The saunas are a big draw, by the way. So
For sure.
yeah.
You left out the North Carolina barbecue.
Oh, I do love me some vinegar-based barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little dollop of
Reinforces.
coleslaw on top of that.
Yeah, coleslaw, Shawnee.
I
Yeah,
guess-
all right.
I guess we're going to Germantown, North Carolina, because that is also my pick. You guys talked me into it. It does look amazing. We definitely have some really cool looking holes at this course that, like Alex said, have a lot of water. I can drive to it.
I'm surprised it's ranked 15 out of the 16
Yeah.
because it looks pretty
kinda-
amazing.
It's pretty
It kind of
pretty
looks
cute. Yep.
canyon-ish, like hole
I was
9.
gonna say that.
I
Hole
was actually
8,
going to
they
say
loop 9.
Valpo. I'm seeing a couple of
Oh, I
Valpo-y
can see
looking
Valpo.
holes.
Sure.
Not the water, but that one that was kind of downhill there with the cove.
Mhm.
That was a little Valpo.
The hole 9 is hole 9
I was
there.
just-
it looks
yeah, I was
just,
gonna
it's
say
like,
that.
Yeah.
except for
It's
those,
obviously
those
their-
prodigy baskets, though.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It would be plus. I mean, how cool would it be to like get a tea time and like that's a little adventure there. That's
Totally.
an adventure. So that's
Yeah,
we can
big
hook
time.
up with Ian Yelton while we're out there.
right.
Ooh.
I'm with the boys on this one.
So Neatman's taking it, but Patrick, Jay, do you guys want to weigh in on? Is there room for discussion on the other place?
It shouldn't change your decision. For me personally, I don't like when a course is private or you have to jump through hoops to play it. Like, to me, that sets a barrier up to entry that we don't necessarily want or need. Now, it doesn't take away from the fact the course looks awesome, right?
Yeah.
It looks like
I
it'd be
agree.
super
Yeah,
fun
I
to
agree
play.
with you. I'm perplexed by that, and I don't know if it's just a call that says, "Hey, where are you?" or if it's like a vetting process.
Yeah.
Because if it's
being a little
vetting, then I
gatekeepery.
agree with
Yeah,
you.
Yes.
I would like to see, I would like to go to Finland just to see their life, like the disc golf scene there. Like, because everyone says it's huge. European
Mhm.
Open, it looks huge. Like, I'd like to see, be the cool kid because I play disc golf. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if it's really like that.
I had a thought, but I lost it. But nonetheless, that means that Neatman is moving on for that bracket.
Wow.
Neat, man.
Neat, man.
With-
That's totally.
Without seeing them, I would not have thought that was going to go that way.
Did Crockhole beat Northwood? I got to update.
Oh,
my-
yeah.
It did,
Yeah.
yeah. So that means our next matchup is going to see 10th seeded Lakeview Disc Golf Course at Moraine State Park in West Liberty, Pennsylvania. West Liberty has a population as of 2021 of only 328 people. It is 18 holes, mock X targets, concrete tees, 3 smart layouts. It is a 7-ish hour drive from Delwood. Sublime mix of mostly wooded but grassy fairways and elevated tees and baskets.
That looks kind of like
Standing rocks.
It's
West Park.
very Blair Witch
Oh,
Project.
yeah. No, I was going to say some of those holes look like the Flight Center.
Lemon Lake.
Lemon Lake, thank you.
Flight pad.
Oh, with
Yeah,
the lake in
weird.
the back.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I
Oh,
can see
fair
the
enough,
poison
yeah.
ivy in the picture, actually.
Right, yeah, I can
Yeah.
feel it. Yeah.
Other things to do in West Liberty is relax at Lake Arthur, or you're not that far away from Pittsburgh.
It was Clay, right, who does the big disc golf trip to the Pennsylvania area.
Yeah, to the Pittsburgh area. He plays,
Yeah.
what was that course?
Something with a beaver in it, no?
Iron.
Buck Beaver.
Iron Buck Beaver.
Iron
That's
Buck
it.
Oh, there's
Beaver,
there's iron something.
The Iron Beaver Buck. Yep.
The Iron
I
Beaver
knew
Buck.
it.
Nailed it. The bib for
Got
sure.
it.
All right. And we paired Lakeview up with 7th seeded Idlewild in Burlington, Kentucky. Burlington has a population of 18,000 people. There are 24 holes, disc catcher, pro target, concrete, and turf tees. They have 7 smart layouts. It's only a 5-hour drive from Delwood. Idlewild is a pro-level course that will challenge any golfer on one of the toughest courses in the world. Disc Golf Pro Tour course since 2017. Other things to do in Burlington, Kentucky. You can travel 30 minutes southwest to Rabbit Hash, where a dog was elected mayor in 1998 and in 2004. Or travel to 30. It happened twice. Or travel
dog.
30 northeast to Cincinnati and visit the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. Or take a tour of the hidden brewery caverns, complete with beer tasting.
I don't want to lead us off on this one.
You're not going to. Ryan, you are going to lead us off on this one. So we got Lakeview versus Idlewild.
Mayor Dog. Final
Mayor
answer.
Dog, final answer.
No. Lakeview looked fantastic. Better than I would have expected for a 10th ranked course on this list. But I've seen Idlewild so many times on coverage, and
Mhm.
if I don't go to there at some point,
Mhm.
I'm gonna lose it. So we got to go Idlewild.
I want to
have
go to there.
It looks
Hmm.
so hard for all the right reasons. It looks Northwood Black difficult for some holes that just look so inviting to get so frustrated and then finish that course and
Sure.
feel so accomplished.
I mean, that's like the Goldilocks zone right there, right? Is like it's
Yeah.
difficult, but also
Yeah.
you want that.
That's what I mean.
difficulty.
And we
Yeah.
just played
Yes.
Northwood Black last weekend. It beat the shit out of us again. And I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Like it was
Great.
so fun and so hard.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think Idlewild would be in that zone as well. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
that's what I got to do. And Dog for Mayor.
Yes.
Dog for Mayor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you watch something on YouTube, like the coverage, the Pro Tour coverage, it's like some courses are just boring, right? You're just like, okay, I'm watching because I want to see who wins, but I'm not really enjoying it. When you watch Idlewild, it's like, this is awesome. You just can't wait for the next hole
Yeah.
to see what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And you're not even playing at that point. You're just watching
Yeah.
other people play it. So I mean, that
Yeah.
speaks a lot about the course.
Right on.
Totally.
Wait,
There
so,
are very few on coverage that I see and like, oh, I know hole 12 at Idlewild. You know, like I've never been there,
Mm,
but I know that course in my head.
Sure.
So yeah.
This was always going to be my pick. I will be riding shotgun with Ryan as he drives us to
The Mayor Dog.
Kentucky. Idlewild for the win.
we don't know yet.
That's 2 votes for Idlewild, but
Oh, okay.
it's
I
moving
misunderstood,
to Patrick here. Is there some discussion about Lakeview, or are you going 3 for 3 on Idlewild?
Idlewild's on my very short list. It's like
Mhm.
Maple Hill, Idlewild. That's the
Summit
short
Park.
list. Oh no,
Oh, that is a very short list, yeah.
London New Tech. How did that get beat? I
Wildcat
gotta.
Bluff?
I'm gonna go back and listen to the last episode so I can hear
Like
that.
you should have done.
Like you should have
I
done before.
started. I started.
Burn.
It's 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
2 episodes. Okay.
Yeah.
Jason?
Consensus was that it was too new. But okay, go ahead.
But Idlewild.
So I think there's always a danger of.
Wait, is it in your notebook? Do you want to read from it?
No,
Or-
I didn't write anything for this
Okay,
one.
okay, go
But there's a danger of gravitating toward what you know over what you don't know. And so I think there's a risk here with this one because we do know Idlewild pretty well.
Oh,
Whereas we
that's
don't
a
know the
great
one from
point.
Pennsylvania. But I don't know how you would ever really make the decision unless we sat down for hours and watched coverage of events from
Mm-hmm.
the Pennsylvania course. Now, what I will say is the fact that I haven't seen something from that Pennsylvania course kind of tells me that maybe it's not as special as Idlewild, right?
Maybe.
So
Mhm.
even
true.
though there is that danger of bias there, I think I'd still go Idlewild myself.
Cool.
Is it going to be a clean sweep over there?
Formalities.
Yeah, there was.
Idlewild, no question.
I don't have any great explanation, but I just felt gravitated to Idlewild right out of the gate, and there was no point where I thought, oh, maybe Lakeview. It just, that never came into my brain.
10.5 for number of discs lost there.
That means Idlewild moves on. We're going to see it go up against Neatman here very shortly. But it is time to talk about our next round, which sees 3rd seeded Faylor Lake Disc Golf Course in Beaver Springs, Pennsylvania. Insert Beaver joke here.
Wait a second, man.
Population of only 800 people in Beaver Springs. They have 18 holes, turf tees. Currently no tee signs or restrooms. Keep that in mind.
What?
It is a 10.5-hour drive from Delwood. Major elevation changes with over 100 feet of elevation drop. Home to 2 B tiers, the Faylor Lake Open and Faylor Lake Fall Classic. Other things to do in Beaver Springs: catch a drag race at the Beaver Springs Dragway, day drink at a vineyard, or visit the Cats of the World Roadside Zoo. Interesting.
Oh, I can't wait till it gets.
Are they gonna have like tigers?
Very cool looking.
And we have put Faylor Lake up against 14th seeded Stafford Woods in Voorhees Township, New Jersey. That area has a population of 30,000. You'll see 18 holes, Disc Catcher Pro and Chainstar. Brick pavers. It's a 13-hour drive from here to get there. It is a wooded course, 4 smart layouts, home of the Stafford Open, which was a DGPT Silver Series in 2021. Other things to do in the area is Gravity Vault Climbing Center, drive to Philadelphia to tour the Eastern State Penitentiary, America's most historic prison, or take a ghost tour.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So that's all the information for Faylor Lake and Stafford Woods. Sean, you are leading us off.
Stafford Woods. It looks a little bit more established. There's plenty more to do. I'm just based on the photos alone. I'm into this. I want to check this out. Stafford Woods, final answer.
Yeah, it does.
It's got some Trindo vibes.
That means Patrick. Moving on to you. What do you feel about that matchup?
I'm probably going with what I've seen before because I've seen the Stafford Open, and that does look like a really, really fun course. The pavers get me a little bit though.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but there's enough pros for that comp.
Oh my god, they have a hanging basket like Trinity does.
Yeah.
I think I would go with Stafford though. as
Stafford
well.
Woods, final answer?
Yes.
Fantastic. Jay, moves on to you. What are we thinking?
So you lost me at no tee pads. I mean, they're probably like, oh, UDisc it, right? Just find out the layout there. You don't have a phone, you can't UDisc. So what am I going to do? Just throw it random trees? So I'm sure you probably find a local, right? And they guide you through. I'm confused by how it even made it on like that high in the list in the first place. It must be exceptional.
It must be really
a-
good.
Temporal, right,
That must be a
right.
temporary thing. Like you couldn't just say, "Oh, no T pads
No T
or
signs.
no T signs." I mean,
Signs.
yeah,
Yeah, no T signs, yeah.
I mean,
It's
Delhi
new.
didn't even
It's
have a
brand new.
parking lot when it first opened up.
If it's new.
You know?
yeah.
That's that new.
Okay,
Yeah, but how do you pick a brand new course like that over something established and excellent?
Yeah.
right,
Sure.
right, yeah.
So it's Stafford for you?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Stafford takes it, but Alex and Ryan, you guys want to weigh in on this matchup?
Damn it. I was really hoping for Beaver Springs.
Oh, I got stories. You can pick Beaver Springs.
I like the blue baskets. That's it.
All right.
So-
that's one of the courses that Clay recommended, right?
No,
Didn't he said he saw the Oscar Mayer Wiener in Beaver Springs?
no, I think they were
Oh, I thought he
closer to
did say that.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that?
Well, that was the joke that he made. It was some
Yeah.
Beaver name related town.
Yeah,
There's a lot of them out there, though.
it wasn't Beaver
Okay.
Springs, and I know that because out of college, I worked at a recording studio that was in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and that town was called Beaver Springs. And I worked within walking distance from where this course is now. Obviously, it wasn't there in 2001.
Sure.
But it is there now, and I know the town. I've raced at that racetrack. Everything about that town is ingrained in my mind as still like in 2001, they were still in the 60s.
Oh, my
Right.
God.
It brings up the story that Sean laughs at all the time. The guy that owned the recording studio that I engineered at took me out to lunch one day, and we sat down at a restaurant, and the waitress came over to us and asked us what we would like to drink, right? Which is a standard first, hi, I'll be your server. What do you want to drink? But instead of saying, what would you like to drink? She said, what for drinks do yous want a while?
What for drinks do yins want a while?
What for drinks do yous want a while?
Oh, my
And I will
God.
forever, I can remember where I was sitting. I can remember what direction I was facing, what she looked like. Every single part of that moment is just locked in my mind forever.
That is fantastic.
So that is, but I know what kind of a tiny little podunk town that is.
Mhm.
And it's like, I have such fond memories of that place and all the people there that I have to pick this course, even though it doesn't matter.
Sure.
But that it's just so funny to me that I didn't even know what disc golf was at that point, barely.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a course that would be within walking distance of where I used to work. It's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
So
That's wild.
anyway,
What for drinks?
what for drinks do you want a while?
It doesn't scare anyone that Stafford is in Voorhees Township.
Oh, also it's in New Jersey. So
Come on.
New Jersey.
I was watching Movies That Made Us today, and I watched the episode about Friday the 13th.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it
is. This, look at it.
Oh, yeah, it is. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see blood in the bottom right-hand corner. Is that what I'm
Yeah.
looking at there?
Uh-huh.
We have one battle left
Pointy head.
in the Eastern Division. And the
The
first
crevices.
one on here
Lots of caca.
is the crevices at Delwood Park in Lockport, Illinois. Lockport has a population of 25,000 people. There are 27 holes in the canyons.
Hey, JK.
They use Mach X targets, concrete tees, 17 smart layouts. It is a 0-minute drive to get to Delwood. There are from Delwood. There are 27 different holes throughout a historical scenic park. Infinite options with blue, white, and red tees on most holes. There are permanent A and B pin locations on a majority of the holes, giving you endless ways to enjoy this beautiful course. Other things you can do in Lockport is play dominoes in the shed at Trinity. Or you can visit downtown Lockport where there's great food and good beer to drink.
Wow, is that
Yeah.
it? Please tell me there's got to be more. There's no mention of JJ.
No, not on my sheet. If you want to talk about them, you can.
No mention of the world famous Unstable Discourse podcast.
Right?
That
Oh,
is-
that grew from the earth right there at Delwood.
Yeah.
Yes. But this final matchup sees the Canyon go up against Cannon Ridge, 6th seeded.
The Cannon and the Crevice.
The Cannon and the Crevice is the name of this matchup.
Oh, the Cannon versus...
Located in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
There we go.
It has a population of 29,000 people, 18 holes, disc catcher targets, concrete tees. It is a 12-hour drive from Delwood. Has limited access. You must call or text first. It's another one of those. The first 11 holes are hilly, wooded, and technical, but the last 7 holes are flat and mostly open. Other things to do in the area is take the battlefield tour, where the Civil War roared to its bloody climax. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's give that a moment to sink in. Or you can take a tour at A. Smith Bauman Distillery, home of the world's best bourbon. So let's see. That means, Patrick, you were going to start off on this one.
I'm feeling a lot of pressure from
Cannon
Sean's
Ridge.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, put the pressure on him.
He's leaning back hard.
The Canyons.
I got 2 words for you. Bloody climax. Keep that in mind when you decide.
Is that the 4th?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
The Canyons has a special place in my heart for sure. It's always nice to see. Everyone's always happy there, but I've never seen Cannon Ridge. I'm gonna go with
You would, you nerd.
I wonder how many sixums are on each of the tee pads in the summer. I'm gonna go with Cannon Ridge.
Nice.
Your popularity hurts
I
you,
like
Sean.
that.
Got
I
him.
like that.
All right, for
All right,
me,
fair enough, Jay.
you can't compare these 2 courses. One's private course and one's publicly playable. Like the crowds you mentioned, Patrick, are only there because it's so accessible, and that's a really good aspect that we have here at the Canyons. And like you can say this course is awesome. There's no trash. It's beautiful, but it's private, and so you're not having just random people walking through with their dogs and leaving trash everywhere. Like that's something that Canyons has to deal with, and yet still overcomes that. And it's still called beautiful by lots of people. And everyone always comments on how clean the course is, how well kept it is. And it's a public course that gets played nonstop by groups of 6 everywhere. And to me, you can't compare these 2 courses. It's the Canyons all day for me. Our canyons, our crevices.
All right. All crevices. Alex, we currently have a tie. Want to break it?
Alex.
I always feel like
Sean is low-key
somebody's
threatened
watching
everybody.
me.
Low-key threatening looks at everybody who's answered so far.
You gave me supportive looks. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's because you picked right.
Yeah.
You have chosen wisely.
Wisely.
Don't call me Junior. Look what you did.
There's nothing but positive things to say about the Canyons. Some of my favorite rounds of disc golf I've ever played were there. The Pro Shop. It's maybe the coolest destination course for a couple different reasons. But if I'm picking where I'm going to go on vacation, I'm going to go somewhere different.
Right.
Cannon Ridge looks incredible, and I like a nice, quieter round with less. Of course, what you guys have achieved at the Canyons, despite all the challenges of the public, it's incredible. But hey, if I'm talking about a vacation, I would love a nice, easy, calmer, quieter round. I'm going Cannon Ridge. I can't speak for anybody else, but going Cannon Ridge.
Dagger in my heart.
Cannon Ridge it is. All right.
Well, shit.
Ryan.
I know what Sean's going to pick, so I'm the tiebreak.
Yeah. What a situation we found ourselves in here.
No, it's pretty obvious for me. Jason said the same thing about the whatever course that was earlier that you had to call ahead, or the private course idea is uncomfortable for me still. Like, especially since you brought that up. He's right. We kind of had to do that at Flip City almost. Like, we knew where it was, but it was kind of a weird, it immediately takes like a point off the scale, like before you even get there. And so it does look beautiful. And Virginia is very close to all the North Carolina courses that we would love to go to. But no, I've spent too much time on the home field. I'd have to pick the crevices for sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This season, interesting turn of events because there is currently a tie, Sean.
Okay.
2 people chose the Canyons and 2 people chose the Cannons.
I will say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have been at that place for 6 days a week for the last 7-8 years, and I am never sick of it. I'm never sick of the vibes. I'm never sick of the stories, the people, the conversations at the counter, the bad beats, the good beats, the aces, the bogeys. Home, baby. Right down the street. Canyons.
Boom.
It is 0 miles from
It is
Delaware.
0 miles from Delhi.
0
So
miles.
that means that our final bracket sees the Canyons move on. So that means the next time we tackle this in the Eastern Division, we are going to see, 15th seeded Neatman go up against 7th seeded Idlewild. And we are going to see 14th seeded Stafford go up against 11th seeded Canyons and Delwood. And that's the Eastern Division
Sick.
taken down to its final 4.
Done.
So, real quick, I do want to mention, because I'm going to create Instagram posts that are specific to each matchup like I did last time. Listeners, if you have been to these courses, that's a great place to comment on what the experience was like. Let us know if we were right in our choices. Let us know if we were wrong in our choices. Let us know if it wasn't a pain in the ass to text somebody and find out where the address is. All that kind of stuff. I really want to see the comment section light up on any type of experience that you have with regards to these courses that most of us here have not set foot in, but are still making judgment calls based off of pictures and descriptions. So maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong. And I definitely want to have those discussions with people. So hit up Instagram and let us know.
Yeah, especially because some of the reasoning behind some of my decisions is like so arbitrary. Like Bloody Climax played a factor in my decision.
Well, sure.
Sure
it did.
I
Dog
love
Mayors really got me.
Yeah.
I love that
absolutely.
call out. I would love to hear from listeners where we were right and or wrong.
Definitely.
I think that takes us to the end of this episode.
Or the
Yeah.
bloody climax of it, if you really want to be honest.
Bloody
Yes.
climax.
Yeah.
It's a wrap on Destination Penetration Round 2.
Mhm.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Such good conversation, such good important topics,
Yes.
and you guys are like blazing trails. I really hope, like I said, that some other listeners in the academic world get some gas in their tank. This should inspire people. I really hope it does. And you guys are just awesome for what you're doing, and you were great guests to have.
Yeah, if there's one
Yes.
teacher out there that gets a disc in a kid's hand that is like changed by that, and then it's all worth it, right?
100%.
All right, well, then another great episode. Thank you, Sheila, for setting this all up. The deucing never
Deuce.
stops.
There it is.
Listeners, if you have not followed us on Instagram, Facebook, etc., make sure you go check out that Instagram page. Jason has curated a really lovely experience for you.
Pretty fun over there.
Yep.
I like when the comments start coming in. That's a highlight of my day.
Yeah.
And leave us reviews on the podcast platforms. Like, share, comment, do whatever you can to help spread this show to more listeners. We sure like doing it, and we like when more people listen. Until
Absolutely.
next time, guys, thanks for listening, and keep it on the fairway.
See ya.
Later, y'all.
Bloody climax.
Bye.
See ya.
Unstable Discourse is produced by Sheila Callahan. Edited by Ryan Fancher. Beats provided by Alex Seminary. And produced in association with Unstable Disc Golf Gear. Look good, feel good, play good.
Unstable Discourse is a Top Secret Studios production, baby.
First one's free, kids.